We're actually going to start a brand new series, and I'm absolutely jazzed about this one. I'm jazzed about this as a series. I think it's something that we've kind of alluded to talking about in the past, and considering like the extensive knowledge we have about different organizations, I'm really excited about this one. So we're literally just going to talk about who we want to see from other organizations fighting in the UFC. So for the first episode, we're going to talk about the bantamweight division, because certainly in Bellator and PFL there is no flyweights. There are some in one, and we may do it down the line, like talk about a Cage Warriors person or somebody from Eternal or One as a flyweight prospect. But we'll kick off with bantamweight. So which bantamweight from an outside organization do you want to see compete in the UFC, and why?
Man, so I feel like the easy pick is the one that most people would go with, but I'm actually going to go outside the box a little bit. A fighter that I've liked for quite a while, back when he was a flyweight primarily, but he left the organization. He was in the UFC, left the organization, and has done some pretty amazing things, is Kyojo Horiguchi. Like, I liked him when he lost to DJ, and I feel like he's just grown since then. And he's only 33. I feel like him coming back right now, he would do some damage in the bantamweight division. Like, him fighting some of that top tier, the top 5 would make it very interesting. I mean, I don't know if he can beat, a Sean and Marab, but I know that it won't be easy to beat him for sure, because it wasn't easy to beat him as a flyweight. Yeah. I think he would be amazing in the bantamweight division for sure.
Well, I'll be honest, I didn't even consider Horiguchi. And he is, I think it's more because he has had a couple of, like, he obviously lost to, he's lost to Pettis fairly recently. But again, it was one of those ones where he was winning and got caught or something and kind of got dunked. So from a competitive standpoint, he would be a great one. But you know me, I'm quite an immature individual, and I've got other things on my mind outside of like the competition. So I did a lot of tape watching in the last couple of days in preparation for this. So I had a look at Liam Gittins from Cage Warriors. I watched a little bit of Eternal MMA stuff, because Dougie's been talking about it as an Australian organization that's coming up. And I had a look at Rod Costa, had a look at some of his fights, and both of them aren't really at the level or have proven that for me yet.
Yeah.
I had a little look at I have been watching Andrade a little bit in One. He's very young, very promising, but he recently got absolutely destroyed in a kickboxing match against Haggerty. So
Haggerty's no joke though. That man is
Haggerty's no joke. And it wasn't a pure kickboxing fight. So I'm going to leave the jury out on him and see how he does, because I think Haggerty's going to take him on in MMA, because it makes sense for him to say, right, well, I've beat you up in kickboxing, I can maybe go and do the same in an MMA fight now, which
might get taken down.
Interesting, considering what we just spoke about.
Yeah.
So for this one, I'm going to go to PFL as well. And again, you brought up the obvious choice being Patchy Mix, who was on a very murderous tear, really well rounded. Honestly though, with his last win being very underwhelming, and I don't really love his personality. I think he's kind of he's very stoic, but he's not going to bring that level of excitement in terms of his mic skills whatsoever.
Nope.
So after that fight, I'm a little bit less hot on that. I'd still like to see him in the UFC, but he's not top of my list. So the other two I have in consideration were kind of a real coin toss for me. I was going to go with Ruffion Stotts initially. He's got a record of 20-2, very well rounded, and he is like a promotable shit talker as well.
Yeah.
But the reason why he ranks second for me, and I'm not putting him first, is firstly, he's 35 years old now.
That's a problem.
And even though it's a problem. And even though he does talk shit on the mic, he's not really an antagonizer. Like, he does talk shit, but he needs another personality to kind of get into it. So for that reason, my pick is actually going to be Danny Sabatello.
Okay.
I'm going to sound like a little bit of a hypocrite here, because I do think the guy is and I've said I'm a hypocrite in the past, and it's well documented. He's an alright striker, but he's very, very wrestling heavy. The guy is just so delusional and antagonistic, though, that it's actually mesmerizing to watch. I do get a strong sense of the tism with this guy.
Guy Fieri's fit nephew from the Jersey Shore. That's actually fucking hilarious. Props on that tweet. But if I saw you in person, I'd still have to beat the fuck out of you.
If I'm going to be honest, there's a bit of tism going on there.
Yeah.
Like, I think he would barely crack into the top 5 in bantamweight in terms of his skill set in the UFC. But he is the kind of character that fans will love to hate.
He's Colby 2.0. No, I've addressed this before. I'm not Colby 2.0. He's got a shtick. He's fake. Nothing about me is fake. Yeah, you're a fucking idiot.
And I think with like a bigger platform, I think he's going to be very polarizing. He's only 31. I think Stotts is more of a balanced choice in terms of what you get in terms of personality and skill set. I do think Patchy is the most dangerous talent, like skill-wise. But I don't care. Like, as I said, I'm an immature little boy. And I feel like Bantamweight is already very well stacked in terms of talent. So I want some antagonistic, tism-laced shitbags injected into the division. So for me, like, I don't know, Sabatello just brings the attention and the drama, and I think he could be huge in elevating bantamweight, because, like I said, with bantamweight, you know, Marab is trying, he's doing his little skits. Some of them are a bit hit and miss.
Yeah.
Sean is obviously a great in-cage talent. Cejudo is who he is, he's on the way out. I think we need an antagonist. And I'm going to say this now, I implore anybody who is a fan of, like, cringy shit talk, look up his feud with Stotts in particular, the one they had in Bellator. It was so childishly hilarious.
In finals, you will have the Italian gangster, Danny Sabatello, against Rafion Super Stotts.
You think that people are going to have your back this fight? You think people are going to be your fan? It's not about you. No one gives a about you. They just hate me. This fight is all about me. It's who's Danny Sabatello fighting. It just so happens to be you.
Who's the better wrestler, by the way?
I'm a better wrestler. We can go wrestle right now. I'll be him. But I mean, obviously, let's go right now. No, guys. Here, bro.
Yeah, who got the belt now?
And I just feel like I said, if Bellator didn't suck, the potential behind the marketing for that could have been really, really massive, because it was so entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
I'd like to see all 3 of them in the UFC, but if I had to pick one, I'd go with Sabatello. He would come in talking mad shit, and he's retarded. So I would love it.
So I'm going to take it one step further. Who would you match him up with?
You obviously couldn't match him up with... I'd match him up with somebody like Henry Cejudo. Or like... I'd do it... I mean, he hasn't earned it. But there's a few... You could put him in there with anybody, because he's just gonna... He's so deluded and stupid.
Who is this jabroni talking so much crap? I think you know exactly who the fuck I am. Everybody knows who I am by now. If you don't, where the fuck you been? Who are you?
He could probably bring... I'd even put him in there with O'Malley. Like, I'd like to see him with O'Malley at some... Even though I think he'd get destroyed in there. He would bring a level of shit talk, and like, the guy is... I might intersplice some clips of this in the video of him, just to give you, because most people that are watching this will be completely oblivious to this guy.
I think you know exactly who the fuck I am. Everybody knows who I am.
He's just an odd character, but he's arrogant as fuck, probably more so than he should be, considering what he brings to the table. But he's so annoying that I know he would piss people off.
Here, bro.
Yeah, who got the belt now?
Yeah.
I know he would piss people off. he probably wouldn't warrant getting anybody inside the top 5, given that he has had a couple of losses. I mean, he got choked out by Magomedov fairly recently, and he also lost to Stotts again. So he's coming off 2 losses. But there's something about this guy that just makes me think.
Yeah.
He's the kind of guy you just want to see get beaten up because he's such a cunt.
That is definitely a nice angle for people, because I mean, if you want to see somebody getting beat up, you still tune in, and that's
the thing. People still don't understand that about the game. Colby understands it. Gary thinks he understands it, but then he doesn't want to be hated.
Yeah, so, I mean, even Connor understood that, understands that.
I don't think Connor went in there thinking I want everyone to like me. I just think he's like, I want people to see me. He understood the I don't care if people want to see me get beat up angle. Yeah. It just so happened that people just enjoyed what he was saying.
He's clever.
I genuinely think he came in there to be the arsehole. And the chips fell where they fell.
And they fell perfectly.
Well, but yeah, I just think
for Horiguchi, I got the perfect matchup for him. I think that he loses this fight, but it would be very entertaining and it would be amazing for this side of the world if you continue to bank on, Horiguchi's Japanese, like you continue to bank on pulling in audiences from that side. And I know that the UFC tries to go over to either China, Singapore, Japan every once in a while. The perfect fight. You can do a fight night for this, and just have other, Li Jinliang and the Iron Turtle, those type of people on there. Yeah. But if you have Horiguchi against Song Yadong, like, I think that would be a massive fight.
And I don't know who I'd pick for that one. I've got to be honest. Like, I'm probably with you. I'd probably slightly favor Song Yadong just because of the youth factor.
Yeah.
But Horiguchi's dangerous, so well-rounded. I could see that being, again, it's so interesting how we phrase this, because it's like, or how we framed it, because you were very much like, who would be a good competitive person to inject into the division? And I'm like, where are the arseholes at? Let me find some arseholes to get in there. Do you know what I mean? It just shows that what kind of fans you.
But you need both. You need both. Yeah,
and that was the problem with this, because it's like, I should have really, Stotts is probably the best choice, but the reason I didn't pick Stotts is because he is quite a respectful person. If you come at him with respect, he's going to come at you with respect.
I know you guys don't like each other, but if you had to pick one thing that you guys most respect about each other, what would it be?
I would say the way he sticks to being a bitch. You know what I mean?
Whereas Danny Sabatello is going to mow you down, talking the most shit no matter who you are. Because he's just an arsehole.
Yeah, by nature.
And he has a very elevated opinion of himself as well. He's never accepted a loss in his career. There's always an excuse. And he's just annoying. Like I said, I'm gonna have to put some images up of this guy. This guy is a cartoon character. He's got the bleached blonde hair. Mm-hmm. And like I said, there's definitely tism there. He's got a few chromosomes extra or missing. I don't know how it works, but there's definitely something going on there.